Hey guys, this is Eli, and welcome back to another episode of Eli's Kingdom. I hope everyone's doing really good, and I'm doing good myself. That's me finally back from all of my travels. So I had a week in Portugal, which was amazing, and a weekend in London as well, which was also amazing. If you haven't been to London, please do go visit. It's such a beautiful city, you know, so vibrant, there's so much going on there. Really amazing food, and of course Portugal as well is such a beautiful country, so definitely add it to your list of places to go travel to. But it's nice to be back in Edinburgh. We have the festival going on at the moment, so I've had quite a busy week seeing lots of shows, catching up with a lot of friends that I haven't seen in quite some time. But that's me back in my house now, ready to record, get started with an episode. And if you haven't already figured this out, today is actually my birthday. Yeah, I turned 30 today, believe it or not. To me, that seems really old, but I'm sure, you know, some people will beg to differ on that one. But I guess on the inside, I still feel like I'm about 15. So, you know, 30 is just a number. It's certainly not what I feel like. But yeah, I guess my general life goal at the moment is to just try and get through every year without dying. That seems to be a good philosophy in life. And I've made it 30 years, so I think I've done pretty well. Fingers crossed it stays that way as well. But anyways, let's get on with the episode. As you can see, I've done a little bit of work on the storage castle between episodes. I've just put the kind of foundation for the outer wall down. And at the moment, it's very kind of plain and basic, but it could actually look really good when we get the roof in. I really don't know. But yeah, this is just kind of the first structure, so there's going to be a lot more detailing added onto this, and certainly do, you know, kind of struts coming out from these turrets on the corners. But I think it's really starting to take shape. You know, I'm very excited to see how it's going to look in a couple of episodes. It's one of these things that's really kind of hard to do on camera because I have to build a little bit to, you know, stop, take a look at it, to knock it down because it's terrible, build a bit more, and just repeat. So it's something I want to do between episodes, just to try and make sure I get something which I'm really happy with. But at the moment, I'm really happy with the structure. I think for the roof, we kind of have two options. We can just do the traditional castle type roof, you know, with the jaggedy edges. I'm not too sure what it's called, but, you know, we can do that all the way along the top. The second option is to do more of a palace type vibe to it, so we can have these kind of pointy roofs with flagpoles at the top. I think both can look really good. We could actually do a hybrid of both of them. I guess with a palace, you know, when you look at, if you do Google images of, you know, palace-type castles, you get things like Cinderella's castle from Disneyland, and it does look incredible, but they do tend to have kind of smaller turrets, and it's very, you know, it's not very symmetrical, so our build here is quite symmetrical. It may not quite work. We have very big turrets as well, so I'm not too sure. I may have to play around with it between episodes just to see, you know, what kind of roof works, what doesn't work, and hopefully come up with something that I'm really happy with. I'm certainly happy with the general structure and shape at the moment. I think this window frame looks amazing, and I'm still trying to come up with ideas for what to design this with. You know, I do want to do some kind of stained glass. We don't have too much room to play with, so I'm not too sure we can do any images or anything because it's, you know, it's not the biggest of spaces, but it's certainly not the smallest of spaces either. So, you know, I can do maybe a nice pattern or texture, but yeah, I really don't know. I'm gonna have to play with that between episodes, I think. But anyways, if you missed the last episode, please do go back and watch it because it was a pretty good one. We basically built this aqueduct, pretty big aqueduct. If you don't know what an aqueduct does, it's basically a way of transporting water from a mountain into, you know, say like a town or village, or in our purpose, it's going to be our kingdom. But this is actually dual purpose. We use this to transport items as well from our mountain, which has got our AFK skeleton, AFK zombie, and our AFK fishing farm inside that mountain. So in today's episode, we need to finish this off. We need to head into the mountain. We need to kind of plug up everything. I think I want to do an item sorter that can automatically pick out the raw fish from the AFK fishing farm, and then we'll have them delivered into this water stream, which should take them all the way into our storage room. They should automatically pass into the super smelters, get cooked up, and then pass into the food chests. So we've got plenty of cooked fish to munch away when we get hungry. And then, of course, we can pass in other things like the zombie flesh. We can do the bones, just anything we need to, which is going to get sent down here. So yeah, we need to connect this up in today's episode. We also need to connect up this part here. So At the moment, I just have the items coming down this water stream and they get passed into this little pool of water. So I think I can either do some kind of underground cavern of water, or I could just do a hopper line down here. Take this into, we could probably connect it to this one, although I'm not too sure this one's actually going to stay. This is what we did in the last episode, which is basically the kind of temporary structure to collect items from an item elevator, which is way down in bedrock. And we basically did the beacon bedrock mining trick, or whatever you call it, where you place a beacon down at bedrock and you just go crazy mining out a huge cavern. We got loads of diamonds, we got loads of redstone, loads of iron, pretty much everything we need. Started filling up some of our storage silos as well, so I think we just have one light on a couple of them, but of course the chests behind them are filling up as well, so it shouldn't be too long until our stone, our cobblestone, they start getting 2 lights on. The one I really want to focus on is dirt as well, because I think dirt is kind of precious. We need to get a lot of it, so I want to try and get this filled up quite high fairly soon. And of course, between episodes, I did come in and detail the aqueduct a little bit. I've replaced some of the blocks with the cracked stone bricks. I've put in some vines, just tried to make it look a little bit more aged and cool. So really happy with this. But anyways, let's get started with the episode. Let's head over into the mountain and get the water stream, the kind of input chest, and the item sorter for the uncooked fish. Let's get that all constructed and built and get everything wired up so we can send items into our storage room. So I have gathered all the resources we're going to need for this project, and I think what we're going to do is we'll actually use one of the pillars in this room. We can take out, or we can probably turn one of the pillars into a door just like this. This is our secret door, of course, and oh geez, that's a lot of mobs. What are they all doing here? At least there's no creepers. Pretty happy with that. Yeah, I think we could probably use one of these pillars and we can actually do what we did with the door, so we can put in another kind of hidden room here. I'll probably use a button this time because there's kind of a bit too many levers in this room, so we can probably place a button on this wall and that'll just activate some kind of T flip-flop, which will just kind of open or close this door depending on what state we need it in. And then on the inside, I don't think there is anything behind this. No, yeah, okay. So on the inside we'll just have a chest where we can just put in items, and that should pass into a dropper, which should pass into the water stream. Hopefully I didn't break anything then. I feel like... Oh no, I don't think I did. Good. Yeah, it'll just pass into a water stream. Now I believe the actual stream we need is probably actually level with that, so it should be okay. If we just head down here, I think the place where I came through, or we came through in the last episode, was actually here, but this brings along the water stream from one side. I'm not going to be able to get back up now. Oops. But yeah, this is where we were before. Oh, jeez. See, I do actually want mobs to spawn in here because I think it's kind of really dark and eerie, so I quite like that. But yeah, we just need to extend this along further and finish off this water stream, so it should be pretty much directly along here, I think. So let's continue this along until we reach where we're going to put our chest. So that should be everything hooked up now. We have a 2x3 door hidden inside this pillar, and we can close it just by tapping on this button, and then same again, tap on the button to open it. So really nice simple design here. This is just hooked up to this T flip-flop. This is one of these 2x2 T flip-flops, which allows the upper and lower pistons to power on and off. And unfortunately this is only 1 block deep. I wanted to take it a little bit further to make it into a small room, but because of the circuitry for this lever, we can't do that. It just has to be 1 block deep. This chest is sitting on top of a hopper, which is hooked up to a dropper line behind. So if I just throw in a bunch of items, we should see that they get spat down here. Yep, you can see some of the ones from a previous test. And this should be where our water stream is eventually, which should take everything into our aqueduct. So just get my sword out because oh no, there's no mobs. Fantastic. Usually this place is crawling with mobs. So yeah, I think everything should be hooked up and should be working now. This place is a little bit of a mess. I should probably come in and tidy this at some stage because it's kind of it's a bit of an obstacle course just to get from one side to the other, but it's not too bad. I think the next thing to do on the list is probably to sort out the item sorter. So here we have our AFK fishing farm. When we do our fishing, all of the items get sent down a hopper, which basically takes things to a minecart. The minecart passes all the way on top of these chests, and then the items start getting transferred down into the 2 sides of these chests. Now I think we're we're going to have to raise everything by 1 or 2 blocks. We can actually go up and see this if I can try not to fall off here. Yep. We can raise everything up here by 1 or 2 blocks, and that should give us enough room to squeeze in an item sorter to basically just pick out the uncooked fish. And then we'll probably send that into, we can probably send it down into this dropper, or maybe just create a new dropper line where we can pass it down into the aqueduct. That's probably a bit simpler because I think it probably uses one too many hoppers to get everything connected down to here. So let's go ahead and do this now. So it turns out we have to take this thing pretty much about 5 or 6 blocks higher just to make sure we have enough room for the redstone, for the item sorter, which I think is, 3 blocks tall, maybe 4 blocks. And then we need to take an extra hopper here so we have enough room to put the power for, this top powered rail. So it is looking to be quite a lot taller. And then I just came to put down the rail and realized that I'm going to have to rebuild this entire thing because, there's just no room for it. But what I've kind of thought about is, because we're just adding in one item sorter, I think kind of to future-proof this, we should probably add in quite a few item sorters because, we may need other things other than the raw fish. Because I think the AFK fishing farm, it does actually generate quite a lot of usable loot. I mean, if we just go down and take a look at the chests, I think I still have the loot from the last time I used the fishing farm, so we can certainly see what we have. I mean, we could pick out the bones, pufferfish we can use for the potions. Unfortunately, we can't do anything unstackable, so we couldn't take the saddles. I would love to take the water bottles, but I'm not too sure we can do an item sorter for those. I'll have to check to see if you can do an item sorter for unstackable items. Leather would be a nice one. Clownfish, I don't know if there's actually a use for that yet, but I do like collecting that. What else do we have? I'm not really too fussed about arrows. We could certainly take string. Oh, it'd be really nice if we could do hoppers. I think, unfortunately, I just dropped them into the system, but that would be really sweet if the AFK fishing farm actually collected hoppers. That'd be a great way to get free hoppers. So yeah, I think probably maybe add in about, 8 or 10 item sorters, just so we can future-proof this for anything we really need, because it's a shame to put all these items to waste. And then everything else can just be taken out manually, like the books and the water bottles and things. We can just take them out, pop them in this chest. So let's go ahead and add in a few more item sorters. So I've just popped into a testing world to take a look at a design by Panda4994, which is capable of sorting out the water bottles from pretty much everything else. And this is an absolute genius design, it really is. Panda is just, he's the Minecraft guru, he seems to know everything. But basically, if we just throw in a bunch of stuff in here, I'll try and separate the water bottles out so they're not all together. Let's just do that. And then what happens is they get passed along here into this dropper. This hopper gets locked just so only one item at a time can pass into the dropper, and then everything that can get fired into the brewing stand does. So this will actually sort out things like redstone, dust as well, and glowstone. And then anything else which can't go into the brewing stand goes into this hopper line here. For some weird reason, this needs a powered rail on the top. If you take this rail out, the whole thing just doesn't work, and everything gets sent into this hopper. So I think this is why Panda is such a genius. I don't know how you could possibly know to do this. He just knew. So yeah, now that's finished. Let's take a look. We should have the 3 water bottles in here, and then everything else should get sent down this line here. So it really is genius. Let's go ahead and build this in the kingdom. Progress update, and this project has become considerably more complex than I first planned for, but I kind of like that. It's been a lot of fun. I think all the item sorters should be in place now. I've had to put them onto the other side of this water shaft though, which means digging quite a large area out. There just wasn't enough room to put them on this side because this wall here, I think it's actually only 1 block thick, and then that's us looking straight into our main cavern with the AFK fish farm. So yeah, everything had to get dug out and moved over. It's still a bit of a mess at the moment, so I'll have to do some tidying later on. And this place is certainly not mob-proof right now. It's a little bit dangerous. We're actually looking out onto the spruce trees, which I think I planted way back in episode 1, so I have to do a bit of terraforming here to close up this mountain again. But everything is in place. I think we have about 11 or 12 item sorters. We only need, I think it's around about 9, so we do have a few extra, which is kind of perfect for future-proofing. These item sorters can just be blocked off for now, but in the future, if they make any changes, changes to fishing in Minecraft, then we do have some extra space to add in a few extra item sorters, and I can hear skeletons around. Just making sure they're not going to come and kill me. Yeah, we should have space to add in a few more items just in case we need to, and that means that we don't need to rebuild this system, so you know, that's a very good thing, obviously. And then here we have our water bottle item sorter. This thing is brilliant, I really do love it. This will pick out all the water bottles, it'll send it into a dropper just here. This dropper should fire everything, just do a quick mob check. This should fire everything down into a water stream. This is actually the same water stream that's just connected up to our aqueduct. So this one just flows under the ground here. We have another dropper here which takes everything that's picked up from the item sorters. This should spit all the items down into this water stream. This is the same one that connects to the dropper which we had for our chest. And then all the other items which aren't sorted just get passed into our system as usual. So everything should be in place. I think the only thing left to do is to connect up this rail. I think this is going to go up to this corner here. We need another unloading station to take all the items out of the minecart. And then I think the last thing to do is to add items into these hoppers just so we know exactly what we're going to sort. In theory, we should be ready for a full systems test. So what I've done is I've taken a bunch of items out of these chests. So we have 16 pufferfish, we have 3 water bottles, 3 random books, and 5 lily pads. So the books are going to go into this chest here, and then the rest I'm just going to place into one of the hoppers for the fishing farm. So everything should go through the system, I hope. I really do hope. Let's just see if this works. Let's pop these books in as well, and we can actually go check them on the very end of the aqueduct. Everything should pop out there. So let's just see if we can see this in action. Just any second. There we go. We have the minecart chest moving up to the top. And we should start seeing the water bottles fire down there. Perfect. And then very soon we should see pufferfish coming down here. Wonderful. That looks like it's working great. So if I just head out this door now, put a little maintenance hatch in here, we can head back to the very end of our aqueduct and hopefully the item should be there. So here we are. Hopefully all of the items are in place. There may still be one or two just on making its way down. I'm not too sure. Is that everything? What do we have down there? Yeah, we certainly have something. Let's take a look to see what we have. Right, we have 3 books, 3 water bottles, and 17 pufferfish. That's not what I put in. Did I put in 15? Somehow managed to accumulate 2. I think it might just be because the water bottle, the item sorter for the water bottles, it holds one item in the hopper. I don't think there's any way to get around that. The item kind of gets stuck in the hopper and it needs to be pushed out by another item. So I think it's probably from one of my earlier tests when I was putting in pufferfish for the item sorter. That's really strange. But in theory, it looks like everything is working. So I'm very happy with this. Next up, we need to do something down here. Maybe put it in a hopper line or something and connect this to our storage room. So let's go ahead and do this now. Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce you to the very first sewer in Eli's Kingdom. Here we go. Yeah, it's actually very similar to the one I built back in the start of the aqueduct, so it's possibly the second sewer, but it's very clean looking at the moment. I think it needs to look a bit dirtier. That's kind of why I like the granite blocks here, because granite to me is quite a dirty block. It's almost as if it was andesite that's been aged, you know, and bashed with water and sewage and whatever. So I quite like using granite. I'll maybe replace some of this with granite just to make it look even more dirtier. But anyway, over here we have the waterfall where the items are going to come down. There's just a couple half slabs here, so the items should pass through this small gap, and then we'll have more water down here to push the items over to our storage system. Now there's going to be a hopper line down here which is going to collect the items, and it should pass everything into an item elevator which will probably be over here, and the item elevator will take everything up to this main input line here, which should pass everything through into our sorting system. So in theory, everything should work. Now there's one thing we need to do before we do that, and that's the water bottles. Because obviously the water bottles aren't going to go into our sorting system because, you know, the non-stackable items, they can't really go anywhere here. They're going to have to go into separate chests. Now, if you remember the item sorter we built for the water bottles, it actually has to drop down by 1 block because we have the dropper which pushes the water bottles onto a brewing stand, and then they get sucked by a hopper underneath. So there's no way we can do that up here because this is our main kind of input line which runs right underneath the floor. So we would have to knock out some of the floor and, it just wouldn't work. We would have to pass the items down by 1 block and then pass them back up. So I think the best thing to do is actually to do it down here, which is where this dropper is. So we'll take all the items through here, and then this dropper should separate the water bottles and everything else, which will go into an item elevator just here. And then I think with the water bottles, we'll actually just use a little kind of a mini storage silo down here. So we'll have a couple chests where we can actually start saving the water bottles. For the moment, there's no real use for them in the kingdom, but certainly in the future, I have big plans to do some kind of, brewing station, something really cool with that, where we can flick levers to tell the system exactly what potions we want to make. And obviously, when you do that, you need quite a big backup of water bottles, so you don't need to worry about filling it up anytime soon. But I think this is going to look really good. This is going to be the first sewer system. I do want to do a few other sewers around the kingdom. They're probably all going to be connected, and may need to lower this one by a couple blocks, because if they are to be connected, we do have a couple rivers in place, and the rivers may be slightly too, low down for this, so this may need to be lowered even more. But I think it's going to look really good when it's done, and I'll certainly decorate this, put a couple vines in place to make it look eerie, and going to keep it really dark, put some iron fences along here so we can actually have mobs spawn in here, and hopefully the mob shouldn't escape into this area. I'm not too sure if the mobs can actually pick up the items or if they can fall into the water. I'll have to do some tests to see if that's going to happen, because, that would be really bad if the mobs were actually breaking the item delivery system. But anyway, let's continue on with this. Let's get the item elevator built. Let's get the water bottle item sorter constructed, and we should be set for a full systems test. Everything is being constructed and we are ready for a full systems test. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did last time. I'm going to put items into this hopper. We're going to do 44 pufferfish, 32 raw fish, 3 water, and 3 random books. Now there's already 1 in the chest, so we should get 45 pufferfish. We should get 33 fish, and these fish are actually going to get cooked, so they should automatically get sent to the super smelter and then back into its chests. So let's go ahead and put these guys in. Let's go and put the books over on this side, and fingers crossed this all works. I've just come across a huge flaw in my system. When this thing is firing, I can't seem to get down to the basement. I think I'm gonna have to redesign where this door is. Come on, let me in, let me in, let me in. Yes! So the moment of truth has arrived. Let's check to see if all of our items made it. So in this chest we should have 3 water bottles, and there should be 3. I guess maybe one of them gets stuck in the pipe or something, although I have a feeling the ones that get stuck are the ones that get sent in this direction. So I think we should have 3. I think there's something not quite right there. I'm going to have to look into that. Let's go and check on the other ones. So I think pufferfish we should have 45 in the chest, and the cooked fish we should have 33. So let's just head up here. I think I do need to redesign this because it's in a really awkward place. It's kind of hard to get to as well. So this one we should have 45, and we have 46. So we've managed to accumulate 1. It was probably just from the last test, I think. And then here we should have 33. We seem to have lost 1 as well. That could just be being stuck in the pipe, I think. There should be at least 1 stuck in the pipe, so I think that one's fine. But I'm not too sure why we only got 2 water bottles. We definitely should have got 3, so that is quite a strange one. But anyways, unfortunately that is all I have time for in this episode. I have to cut it a little bit short because tomorrow I am flying back off to Phoenix, Arizona. I'm heading there for a month this time, so I think the next couple of episodes are going to be recorded over there. And then at the end of September, I'm actually flying to Anaheim in California because it is going to be Minecon, which I'm really excited for. I think that's going to be amazing. I've never done Minecon before, so I don't really know what to expect, but it should be really good. Looking forward to meeting some of the other YouTubers who are going there. And if you are going to go, then please do let me know. It would be great to say hi to some people. Also, it seems to be right next to Disneyland as well, so definitely going to spend 2 days at at Disney. I'm actually going for a long weekend, so plenty of Disney time there. But thank you very much for watching, guys. As always, if you did enjoy this, then please do leave a like. And if you haven't already, then please do subscribe. I've been Eli, thanks for watching.